Hey, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure, bringing this to you early in March. We're 2 weeks away from spring, so if I look like I'm in a better mood, I am. This is your wake up call. As a matter of fact, this is going to be such an important wake up call. I'm going to help you, after you watch this podcast, I'm going to help you not only wake up, I'm going to help make sure you wake up with somebody. That's right. A lot of you out there, because of this damn pandemic, either aren't dating, forgot how to date, or really are confused about online dating. And the focus today is I want to guide you through the maze of online dating. And let me tell you, it is a maze. But the very first thing I want to say is I am a wait, let me be clear, huge fan of online dating. The way our world is set up today, the days of bumping into somebody at the grocery store, at the church or the synagogue or mosque, yeah, I was really politically correct on that one. Uh, it doesn't happen as much anymore. The days of being set up really doesn't happen that much anymore. The job place has changed. We used to meet our partners frequently where we work. And a lot of jobs now, a lot of corporations, a lot of businesses actually discourage people dating people that they work with. And so what are we left with? Well, there's the good old bar scene. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Let's rule that one out right away because, do I want to meet somebody at a bar who is probably intoxicated as my first introduction to them? I would say that's a hard no. So, for years, because of this damn pandemic, clubs were closed down. Believe it or not, a club was a wonderful place to meet somebody because to dance with somebody, you get a little vibe about them. Somebody who can dance probably is good in other areas of their life. Let's just leave it at that. And somebody who dances like this, and I hope I don't offend you, but I'm going to look like your Uncle Harry at a wedding when they do this. Yeah, have fun with that. By the way, if that's your boyfriend or girlfriend, you got to dump them immediately. You have the right to your own dignity. And if they dance like this, yeah, have fun with that one. Another great place that we used to meet that I haven't seen out there, and I still think it's pandemic related, were singles dances. And a lot of the singles dances were for men and women over the age of 40. Wonderful place to meet people. And it's sort of organic in an interesting way. You literally go up to somebody during a good song and you say, hey, would you like to dance? And if there's a connection, you get to sit at the table, you chat a little bit. Maybe have a diet ginger ale, not a sponsor. And you know what you do? You get to know them. And if there's a connection there, maybe you ask them out for dinner. But it seems like the dating world has changed a lot. And what are we left with? For the most part, online dating. And it is a crazy maze. So I want to help you to be really successful. You have to answer this question first. And if the answer is no or I'm not sure, don't do it. Are you ready to have a partner in your life? My podcast partner from Bros Who Knows, Rich Yancey, and I are actually going to do a podcast down the road about the shortage of single men who actually want to date. It's an interesting phenomenon, so please pay close attention for when that content comes out. But a study just came out within the last couple of weeks that says that even though there are more single men out there, they're not eager to date right now. So if you're a woman, and I think in some ways my direction today on the wake-up call is really probably more towards women because I get more questions from women about how do I find maybe my soulmate, or more importantly, how do I find my future notebook? And if you haven't seen that movie, you have to watch it. But back to my original point. If you're not ready to have someone in your life, if you're not ready to share your life, if you're not ready to alter your life, if you're not ready to change your life, you're not ready to do online dating. Unless, of course, online dating really is for you not to so much find a relationship. It's really about maybe just finding somebody to go to dinner with from time to time, to go to a movie with time to time, to go to a concert with from time to time, to hang out with at nighttime and kick them out at 2:30 in the morning. You figure out what that means. Whatever it is that you're looking for, online dating probably allows it. But if you want a relationship, you want to attract the right kind of guy, let me give you some tips. And the very first one is you have to be ready to do it. The second big tip that I'm going to give you, and this goes for men and women, is you got to think long and hard about your profile photo. And the biggest mistake that men and women make on their profile photo, there's several actually, is a selfie. See, what a selfie says to the viewer is, I don't have any friends who could actually take this picture of me, so we begin to interpret, well, what's wrong with this person? The only pictures on their profile are selfies. And by the way, selfies rarely come out good. So first and foremost, you have to have an outstanding profile photo that captures the very essence of who you are. I've seen some of the studies that suggest for men that if they have a picture of themselves with a dog, that actually garners a lot of attention. So dudes, if you're out there and you don't have a dog, borrow your buddy's dog and take a picture. I say it tongue in cheek because in some ways it's false advertising. Here's a big no-no for guys. Do not have this in your profile picture. You and a picture of your cat, don't do it. For whatever reason, it seems to be a turnoff to most women, and you also don't want to have a picture of your 5-pound bass that you caught in the Quabbin Reservoir. Don't do it. Don't have a profile picture with your hat on backwards so that people think your nickname is Sully. And don't have a selfie of you without a shirt on. No matter how good you think you look, don't have a shirtless selfie as your profile photo. You're just going to get passed by. Most importantly, have a picture that is taken by a friend or family member that shows you smiling, that shows the very essence of your inside, the beauty of your character, the essence of your personality, and the grace of how you view the world. And a lot of that can be captured with a really good photo. Also, make sure you have lots of photos on your profile. And don't, please, guys and gals, don't do this. Please stop doing it. No one cares that you got a picture of your plant or a picture of a rainbow or a picture, maybe a sunset's kind of cool, I guess. You know what? When we're seeking a partner or somebody to date, we don't give a shit about rainbows and unicorns and save the whales and a picture of your goldfish and a picture of you and your best friend Martha doing shotties at the bar. Those are turn-off pictures. You know what we want to see? We want to see pictures of you doing things. So if you're a runner, let's see a picture of you running. If you're a foodie, let's see a picture of you having a nice meal. Yes, it's okay to have a picture of you at the gym. As a matter of fact, if that's a big part of your life, you really should do that. Show that you're into health and fitness and into wellness. If you're a kayaker, have a picture of you kayaking with people. But stop showing all these pictures that aren't of you. And if you're a woman in particular, don't include photos of you and your best friends, because as guys, we're trying to figure out which one is you. And we all have this story. Happened to me when I was doing online dating. I thought I was reaching out to the woman in the middle of the photo. No, I was actually reaching out to the woman who was on the right side of the photo. And when we met inside, I'm like, hey, that's not the woman in the middle of the photo. That's the woman on the right side. So make sure if you have photos with you and friends or you and family members, make sure you're really clear and you distinguish who is who. Next, how do you write your profile? I'm going to tell you, if your profile is as long as my doctorate dissertation, it's too long. We don't care about all the X's and O's and every single thing you're going to say about you. Don't answer every question on Match.com, not a sponsor, on eHarmony, on all the other electronic online dating services. Don't answer every question. just put a real straightforward profile introduction. This is who I am. And ladies, this is the biggest mistake you make. If you want to guarantee that no one reaches out to you, or that when you reach out to them they don't respond, have this in your opener. And I'll tell you what it looks like right now. Hi, I'm Becky, and I'm 42 years old, and I'm the proud mother of two boys, 9 and 7, Jacob and Colby, and they are my life. They are the apple of my eye, and any guy who wants to be part of my life has to know that they will always come in second to Jacob and Colby. Guess what a guy is going to do? Swipe, 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 swipe. And if you send him an email, he's going to look at your pictures, and you can look like Giselle. Tom, what were you thinking? You can look like Giselle, and we're not going to respond because guys are genetically selfish, and we'd like to know at times we're actually going to be a priority in your life. We don't have to be a priority every day, every minute, every second, but we'd like to know you have room for us. And right away in your profile, you're telling me that Colby is your number one priority. Well, you might as well say in your profile, hi, I'm Becky, I'm 42 years old. I don't have the time, energy, or desire to have a man in my life, and if I do, he's got to adapt to my schedule. You're going to be single for a long time. And let me do a little psychological side note here. Do you know what every child wants? You know what their number one priority is? They want happy parents. So Becky or Bob, you're 42 and you're single out there, you know what? Your kids want you to date. They want you to be happy. They don't want your entire focus to be on them. It's too much damn pressure. So please don't write it in your profile. Just my kids are number one. They're the most important part of my life. No, they need to be part of the most important part of your life. But you know what? You know what attracts a guy? Really healthy women. And you know what really healthy women are? They balance work, they balance relationships, they balance their children. Maybe most importantly, they balance their own individual time. Without a partner, without a job, without friends, it's just them time. That's what you should write. See, if you want to attract a healthy guy, you're going to be healthy, and you're going to write this in your profile. Hi, I'm Becky. I'm 42. I'm the mother of two, and I am looking for a healthy guy who is eager to start new adventures, who's eager to go away for the weekend, who's eager to try some new things. I'm your girl. See, that's a guy who's going to be like, yeah, now here's somebody who's ready for a relationship instead of being told, you're always going to come in two. What's number two? We call it number two for a reason. In relationships, your partner also has to feel number one. So ladies, make sure your profile highlights that you're looking for an emotionally healthy man. Make sure your profile says, I'm looking for a physically fit man. Make sure your profile says, I'm not looking for a man who lives in his mom's basement. A guy will find that funny. Humor is very sexy. And to my guys, to my dudes, to my bros out there, all 5 of you who may be watching this podcast still, because you think you know all the deal, you think you know all the rules, I'm going to give you a big tip, right? Your pictures, as I already talked about, need to show you doing something. They need to capture your essence. They need to show that you're fun. Your profile needs to be written this way. Hi, I'm Steve, and I'm looking for my notebook. That's all you have to say, and every healthy woman knows what the notebook is. I'm eager to go on adventures with you. I love to cook. I love to go to the gym. I love to go watch the Celtics. By the way, the Knicks crushed them last night. I'm thrilled about that. But put some of your interest in there and mention that you're looking to share with somebody. And most importantly, say, I'm looking to maybe do some of the things that you like to do. And I'm the father of 2 amazing daughters that hopefully at some point we'll get a chance to meet and we can talk about where it goes. The other things, dudes, you got to update your wardrobe. Guys, I'm telling you, update your wardrobe. Boy, that's a tough word to say, especially on a Monday. If you still wear pants that have pleats in them, you're still living in 1994. And you know what? Show up on your first date, your first online date, in pleated pants, you're not going to get a second date. You're just not, because you look silly. Those are outdated. So for both men and women who are watching this, you have to make sure that the clothes you're wearing looks really good, that you're tight, that you're confident, that they fit well. And to the ladies watching this, please don't put any pictures of you filtered. We want to know what you look like. We don't care that you look like some cartoon character. Don't do it. And please, for the safety of your children, men and women, please don't post pictures online of your children. Why would you do that? Don't do it. Don't do it. Post pictures of yourself, post pictures of yourself with friends, and make sure you're really, really clear about it. No one cares about the book that you last read. They just don't. By the way, author of these two amazing books, please go to drjefflecure.com. I'll give you some more information there. But they don't care about the book that you last read. They don't care about the movie that you last saw. They don't care that you binge watched a particular show. As a matter of fact, I'd be careful on your profile mentioning that you binge watched anything, because it sounds like you don't get out. Right? The whole purpose of dating is to get out, is to expand your horizons, is to have some fun. So I would not tell anybody on your profile that you've been binged watched anything. As proud as you should be if you're in recovery, as proud as you should be if you've ever battled anxiety and depression and you've worked really strongly to overcome it, that's not something you should put on your profile. You will scare people away. They're not. It's information that's too much too soon. I've actually read profiles where people talk about their exes. Don't do that. Matter of fact, on your first date, if you talk about your exes too much, there won't be a second date. Big dating tip that I want to give all of you out there, as a matter of fact, is plan on having a ton of first dates and very few second dates. And there's two questions you should ask yourself internally on this first date. Is this somebody that has stimulated enough interest and chemistry for me that I could see myself spending a lot of time with them? And if the answer is no, be gracious and kind and say, thank you so much for this first date, but I don't sense there's enough of a connection. If you live in the philosophy of, I'm going to give somebody a chance, those relationships by and large are destined to fail. And remember, if you're out on a second date with somebody that you have a lot of questions about, you're not on a first date with your potential notebook. And that's why I'm giving you these hard and fast dating tips and dating ideas. If you eventually get an email, I want to encourage you to respond regardless. So if you're not thrilled with their profile, or the pictures aren't visually what you're looking for, don't tell them, hey, I don't think you're particularly attractive, or maybe you're particularly attractive and not my kind. Just say, hey, I really appreciate you reaching out, but I just don't sense, based on what I've seen and what I've read, that we'd be a particular a great connection, and I wish you well on your search. I believe that dating and dating profiles and how we respond to people's creates great karma. It really does. And I think if we are polite and gracious to people who reach out to us, I do think we get paid back in great dividends. So if someone shows enough courage to actually reach out to you, please respond. Here's a big mistake a lot of online daters make. I'm going to tell you this right now, and don't do it. I made it when I was single and I was doing online dating. Don't go from emailing to a lot of texting back and forth before you meet. Because here's what will happen, and does happen sometimes, is the potential energy of, oh my God, I think I met somebody that I'm really attracted to, and all these texts and maybe even phone calls, I really like talking to them. And then you meet in person and you realize, oh my goodness, you're not my type, or you don't have a visual look that I find chemically appealing. Then you have to be able to say, hey, I'm so sorry. So you know what I want to encourage you to do? Once you have reached out or responded to somebody and it seems like there's a connection, you've got to meet sooner than later. You got to meet sooner than later. And here's some more dating tips. Date during the week for first dates, and say Friday and Saturdays for date number 2. One of the best things you could do is meet for a drink. Doesn't have to be alcohol, but meet for a drink on a Monday or Tuesday after work for maybe an hour, and just get to know somebody a little bit. And then guys, and I say this mostly to the guys, there's still some chivalry out there, and I believe in it, and I think it's cool. I still think it's cool to open doors. Uh, if you feel there's a connection there on a Monday or Tuesday, reach out to her right there at that date, at that first meet. It's not even a date, it's a first meet. And say, you know what, I really enjoyed our time. I'd like to get to know you better. What are you doing Friday or Saturday? I want you as people, as daters, to save Friday or Saturdays for date number 2. I want you to avoid Fridays or Saturdays for first meets. Fridays and Saturdays are sacred dating time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it is, save that for those first meets. And again, to sort of recap it, don't spend a lot of time electronically via the phone or texting or emailing getting to know somebody. Don't do it. It's a recipe to be disappointed. It's a recipe to be let down. You've got to go out and meet people, and that's how you determine it. And I will tell you a dating philosophy that I have that I share with the people that I'm privileged to work with around this topic. I encourage them to be the bachelor or the bachelorette, and I mean that sincerely. Set up a lot of first dates and go out with a lot of different people before you lock yourself down into one person. Allow yourself to go on 2 or 3 first dates in the same week and get a feel. Because you might go out on Monday with some guy or with some gal and really feel like, wow, that was great. And then you go out on a Tuesday or Wednesday with someone else and you go, you know what? Wow, as cool as I thought Monday was, actually this person that I just met today is actually a better fit. Or the person that you meet on Wednesday confirms for you how amazing the person was on Monday. The other thing I want to encourage you to do on a date is listen. Listen. A lot of times when we get nervous, we tend to talk a lot about ourselves. Listen. Find out about that person. Let them find out about you. For me, an instant date killer, I wasn't going to do a second date no matter how she looked, no matter how pretty she was, no matter how she might have been in my demographic. If it was an hour of her just talking about her and her friend Rachel, yeah, I'm done. It's got to be a give and take. I want her to find out about me. I wanted to find out about her. And what I found out about her in an hour was it was all about her, and I could only imagine what a long-term relationship with her might be like. So also, try to find the balance between being a 60 minutes interviewer or a Dateline interviewer or a 48 hours interviewer. By the way, all 3 not sponsors. Don't just interview somebody. Again, that shows you're nervous. And see, showing you're nervous on a first meet is actually really cute. It really is, because it tells that person, wow, they're actually nervous. I think they kind of dig me. But there's a balance between being nervous and being flat out overwhelmed. Don't interview somebody on a first meet. Have a discussion with them. Have a conversation. And guys, if you want to guarantee that she doesn't see you a second time, tell her 53 times how beautiful she is. Tell her how gorgeous she is. Tell her how stunning she is 53 different times. And she literally wants to vomit in her own mouth. And she won't see you again because you're too insecure. Maybe after a while you say, hey, can I share something with you? Just because, you have beautiful eyes and it's been a real pleasure to sit here and have a conversation with you and look at those eyes. Be a little more subtle. Here's another thing I really want to encourage you to do. If not the first meet, if you decide to have that first date, which is really, I guess, the second meet, critical to have a good night kiss. Don't force it. By all means, don't force it. It's got to feel right. But you need to know if there's chemistry there. I hope the person I'm talking about never watches, This Is Your Wake-Up Call with Dr. Jeff LaCure. But if she is, I'm going to apologize in advance, because she was really an outstanding lady with a tremendous personality. But I remember the goodnight kiss, and I'll try to sort of play it out for you. But it was this. And so lips touched, and all she did was just like literally rotate. I felt like I was a human blender. Right away, I could tell there was no chemistry. And who knows? Maybe she has her podcast. She's saying, hey, I bumped into this Jeff dude, and he was an awful kisser. I tried to rotate, and he was wasn't moving. Maybe she thought I was a corpse. Who knows? But either way, there wasn't a physical connection there. At minimum, a hug goodbye is key. There's got to be something there. Uh, I will say this too, as far as dating goes. Let's say there's just a phenomenal physical chemistry there. Don't make the mistake of hopping into the sack either on the first meet or the second date. Don't do it. You're adults. I mean, do whatever you want. But if you're really looking for a long-term relationship, that almost guarantees that you won't have a long-term relationship. You may have some interestingly exciting, potentially, sex that night. But ladies, I'll tell you exactly what guys think. If you give us sex on the first date, it's so weird, but most of us lose respect for you, and we actually wonder, geez, if you had sex with us on the first night, who else have you had sex with on the first night? And we have this interesting bro code as men. There are sort of two kinds of women. There's the kind that we have sex with on the first date, and there's the kind that we bring home to mom. So keep that in mind, that if you're looking for a high quality man, you might make out with him hardcore on the second date. But if it turns into a much deeper sexual experience, I don't know how good people feel leaving after that one. And they certainly rarely feel good leaving at 2:30 in the morning. And it feels even more awkward in the morning, like, okay, what do we do now? So make sure you go at your own time and pace. But the other thing I want to suggest is don't put artificial boundaries down on the dating. Here's what I see a big mistake of online daters. They start reaching out to somebody or they respond to somebody, and then they wait 3 or 4 weeks to meet. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not ready to date online. You don't have time to date online. That if you've reached out to somebody or somebody's reached out to you on a Sunday or a Monday, if you haven't put a plan together to date that weekend, unless there's really something busy going on, you're not ready to date. You're really not ready to date. And everybody has had online horror stories. People lie about their age. You stop showing pictures of how you looked 20 years ago. Guess what? We don't care. We want to know how you look today. More importantly, we want to know how you look tomorrow when we actually meet you. But here's some of the online dating stories, horror stories that I don't want you to be part of. There's online scammers out there. It's usually a guy. If a guy's asking you, "Hey, I'm over in England. Could you send me over $2,000 for a plane ticket?" It's a scam. Hey, dudes, if she says she's over in Russia and she just wants to come over and marry you and love you and be everything you're looking for, but you got to send her $2,500 for a plane ticket, she's scamming you. I also will give you a statistic that is. It's anecdotal, but there's a lot of studies that suggest that up to 50% of males who are doing online dating are actually in a committed relationship, quotation marks around committed, but they're either married, engaged, or with somebody else, and they're doing it on the side. And it's suggested that about 25% of women are doing that. Who are in committed relationships. So be mindful, be careful. I know it goes without saying, but for the first date, it's really cool to meet in a public place. I don't suggest that a guy asks you out and says, "I'll pick you up at 6." I certainly wouldn't encourage a woman to say, "Sure, I'll do a car date with you the first time." Meet in a public place, go home in your own cars, and either way, I'll wrap it with this. Don't ghost somebody. If the first date went pretty well and you said, "Hey, I'm going to reach out to you," and then you don't do that. Don't do that. Male or female, don't do that. If you went out with somebody on a Monday and said, "I'd like to see you this weekend," and then you meet somebody on a Wednesday and you realize it's a better connection, be honest with somebody, even if it's over text. "Hey, I really enjoyed our time on Monday. I went on another date and I just think it's a better connection. I wish you well. I wish you a lot of success in what you're looking for." See, what every dating profile puts down, male or female, is they're looking for someone honest. And I believe in credibility and accountability allows us to have to reap the rewards of successful dating. So I can't tell you the amount of times I've had people in my office who said, "Oh, Dr. Jeff, I went on a couple of great dates, and then before I know it, they just ghosted me." Don't do that. Don't ghost people. Don't trash their humanity. You know what? Tell them the truth. And as a matter of fact, if there's a truth to why you don't want to see them, how are they going to learn unless they know the truth? So, in closing, online dating is outstanding, but you have to be ready to do it. And I think I've provided you some tips that increase the likelihood that you have first meets. Remember, successful dates and successful relationships they absolutely start by a person going on lots of first meets, but very few second dates. It shows you're picky, it shows you're selective. Most important, it shows you're worth it. And every man and every woman wants someone that they can have on their arm and say, they're worth it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Your Wake Up Call. If you do it right, and you do it with class and with grace, I just helped you wake up maybe with the man or woman of your dreams. I'll see you next week.